Hey guys, it's me, Slim, and I was thinking about this at breakfast, and I wanted to share it with you guys. It's about risk versus reward, more specifically in the laning phase, because that's when it's easiest to calculate. Okay, so I was thinking about the situation where you're in a winning matchup, and you're able to deny CS. All right, let's say that each CS is worth 18.1818 repeating. Just for simplicity's sake, that makes math really easy. Okay, and let's say that you're able to do this guaranteed, right? The alternative to them missing a CS is them taking the CS and them taking roughly 18 gold worth of damage. For those of you that don't know, damage is calculated at 150 HP is worth 50 gold from the value of the potion. Okay, so with this in mind, this is guaranteed 100% chance. But there's also a risk of you getting ganked, and if you get ganked, you lose 300 gold in your lane plus 150 gold for the assist. For the purposes of this, let's go ahead and use the full value. But if you were thinking about this from a purely solo queue mentality, that assist gold that the jungler gets, unless he comes back, isn't going to affect you too much. So it's 450 gold negative. Okay, and with this in mind, right, if there's a 100% chance that the enemy jungler is coming to your lane, then you will lose, if you do this play a bunch of times, you will lose 432 gold, roughly. Okay, every time. Not worth it, right? Just not worth it. It's a bad idea. But this is not a 100% chance that this is going to happen. This is a variable chance based on game situation. We'll call it X. Okay, so then to figure out when it becomes worth it to deny that CS, you basically take these numbers and put them into an equation. So there's 450 gold lost on average, X times the percentage that's going to happen, versus the 18 gold that you're going to deny guaranteed. Okay, so 18 minus the 450, and then equal to about, and we want this value to be positive, because when this value is positive, right now, like when 100% chance is negative, but we want this value to be positive, so set it to 0, and then everything greater than that will be positive. Okay, so you do the math here, minus 18 on both sides, and you get X 18 minus 450. Now let me pull out a calculator, because I can't actually do that in my head. 18 divided by 450. Okay, so when you have a 4% chance of getting ganked, 4% chance of getting ganked or less, then it becomes worth it theoretically becomes worth it in terms of expected gold return to go for that minion deny. But we also have to factor in that you are not going to necessarily die every time you receive a gank, right? So let's change some of these values. Let's make the equation more complicated, right? So let's say of this chance of you getting ganked, this 450 is affected by, let's say it's the chance you die to a gank, which we'll call that Y. Okay? Oh, shit. My pen hit my charger. Okay? It's the chance you die to a gank, call that Y. So then you have 18 gold you're denying minus 450, okay, times Y times X. Okay? And then this we want to hit set to 0. So now with two variables, you can't necessarily solve for it at the same time, but you can just call Y and X a combined variable. Like we can just combine like Z is equal to Y times X, and then we get Z here, and then we get the same Z is equal to 0.04. So basically, we need to get a 4% chance of dying to a gank, which is the rate of getting ganked times the success rate of the gank. And these are variables basically in your head. You do this all the time when you're playing, or theoretically you should be, if you're thinking actively about the game, you're thinking about the likelihood of you getting ganked, the likelihood of you dying from that gank, versus the value of what you're denying, right? So in situations where this 18 gold is actually not 18 gold, it's like you have a wave push to turret and you can deny 3 casters, you can deny 54 gold, then this becomes 12% chance for it to become worth it in the sense of expected gold return. There's a couple problems with this though in team play. In solo queue, this works fine. This is what most people learn as they learn how to win lane. This is what they learn in how to manufacture leads in their lane and not fall behind to ganks, right? And sometimes, right, the expected gold return is positive, right? You're good to go. You only had a 3% chance of getting ganked. The jungler's probably not going to be there because his top, like I'm top, let's say from top lane perspective, right? Jungler's probably not going to be there. His top lane jungle is all cleared. You saw him clear it on wards. The wards have expired, but there's no reason for him to be there, and you wouldn't expect him to be there. So in your head, you're calculating, and let's say there's a 100% chance of you dying, but the chance of him ganking you is less than 4% because he needs to farm. He's going to fall behind if he doesn't farm, right? And you're also not playing in a way that is particularly aggressive and that would bait him to coming anyway. So you feel that your X value is less than 4%. You feel your X value is 3%. So you think it's worth it then to go ahead and deny this minion, right? What happens though is basically a situation where if you're wrong, you lose a lot more than you would have gained. Despite it being a low chance that it happens, it can still happen. It's equivalent. An equivalent analogy would be if you take your entire paycheck and someone says, hey, I have this investment here that has a 97% chance to pay off, and if it does, you'll get another 10% to your paycheck. But if it doesn't, you lose your entire paycheck. Now, whether you take that bet depends entirely on if you need that paycheck, right? So if you're in a lane situation where if your laner gets ahead of you, you start getting shit on, and you're like, basically that's the equivalent of living paycheck to paycheck, then you don't take that because you will lose everything by being wrong. Whereas if you're in a situation where you're either already ahead and you're looking to push the lead further, and if you get a minor setback of 300 gold, it's not the end of the world, or 450 gold, it's not the end of the world, or if you are in a matchup where even if you do fall, you're even, but because of the kits of your champions, he's never going to be able to fight you, or it's never going to change the game situation too drastically, that'd be the equivalent of you having money saved up, and you feel confident taking this investment, or in this case, going for this aggressive play of denying the minion, right? So these are things that you need to think about when you're factoring this in the equation, but this is the general math behind it. Thanks for watching, guys.